Welcome to another episode of PuckPod by B Sports. My name is Brian. I'm here with David and Christian. Christian, how was your week?
Well, it's been like what, 3 or 4 days. Hasn't really been a full week. Swear it's literally just been the exact same as the past 3 times we've done the how was your week. Yeah, we're gonna watch. I watch sports. So, but you know what? This time the sports was my favorite sport, my favorite team. Some Leafs content, fantastic. To just food for the soul to watch that. So pretty good. 3 4 days since we last spoke.
How about you, Dave?
Yeah, dude, I can't honestly like I'm in a total agreement there, Christian. Like, thank
Everything's a
God.
blur, right, Dave? Like
Oh
just
man,
work and watch
I
sports.
I completely forgot that we even like recorded a podcast 3 days. Like it's felt
Yeah.
like it's been long. Like it felt like it was a whole week, but it was like literally only on Wednesday, just before the Leaf season opener. And like even still, yeah, thank God that the league, like hockey's back. I've been watching a lot of hockey to start off the season, which is normally how it goes, and then I'll end up just focusing on the Leafs, I would say, by November. But I'm gonna try to like keep it going, like all hockey all the time. I like to stay in the know. But other than that, that's about it. Just a lot of work and a lot of sports.
I flew home. Well, I flew to my Thunder Bay apartment. I was going to say flew home. No, this isn't home.
No, this isn't your real home. This is the fake home.
Sorry, I didn't fly. I drove, actually. It was just a long drive, 15 hours. I saved a little bit of money, which is good on the plane ticket. I had to bring my jacket and, like, winter stuff, right? Because you don't want to fly with that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, here I am at Thunder Bay again. No
And
fancy
now,
castle
but wait,
stuff.
so now you have your car there too?
No, a buddy drove me up, and he's gonna stay with me for a bit.
Oh,
They
okay.
crash in my apartment for a bit, which is good. He gets to enjoy the outdoors. He's actually hiking right now, which I kind of missed out on because I'm doing this, but it's okay. It's okay. I saved a bit of money in a plane ticket. The Colorado Avalanche gave a lot of money with their Devon Toews signing. 7.25x7 for Devon Toews. This might be the best defensive contract that's not out ELC in the league, I think. I guess he's not a Makar or a Fox to me, but he's certainly in the top 15, and he's probably number 2 or 3, just pure defensively, at least. I don't know. I'm impressed with this deal.
He's good at everything. Like I had sent the J Fresh card, and it was literally like 80th percentile or higher in every single category except power play, which Dave pointed out. He's like, well, he doesn't need to be good on the power play when you have Kale McCarr. He's just a do it everything defenseman, and he does it well. Plays like 25 minutes a night. He just does it all, man. Does it all. It's incredible that they got him from the freaking Islanders for 2 second-round picks. Like, what a damn steal! I think at the time people were like, "Well, it's maybe even a little much for an unproven guy," because at that point in New York, he hadn't really done anything like that, and then he just exploded as soon as he got to Colorado.
I mean,
my immediate reaction though, yeah, sorry, Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, I'm proven maybe a little bit, but I think
we didn't know that he had this in him.
Yeah,
like what he is now.
I think that's just a product of the Colorado defensive factory machine. I think like that's just like a product of your surroundings, but which is kind of crazy to think because it's like the Islanders you would expect to produce like ridiculous defensemen, right? Like they have ridiculous defensemen like Adam Pelech and other guys like that. But they probably lost the best of the bunch. Like imagine Devon Toews right now on that Islanders defense. Like they'd be bar none like the best defense in the league.
Devon Toews is honestly a top 2 on every team in the league, and if not a top 1. Like he's that good.
The only team he's not
I would say he's
a
number 1 on 15 teams, and number 2 on every team.
The only team he's like not a 1 on is his own team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Ironically enough, 7.
So that number, that's exactly that's what bothers me, because that was my immediate reaction as I saw that number, and the Leaf brain tells me, okay, what's our numbers look like? Well, it's Morgan Riley at 7.5. I love Morgan Riley, love him dearly. especially after like his playoff performances. Incredible 10 out of 10 stuff. Great guy, leader,
Real
all
nice
that.
guy.
Amazing guy, Dave would know him, right?
Yeah,
But
very well.
yeah, Devon Toews is better.
Yeah.
By a decent margin.
Leaps and
And for
like
him,
literally leaps and bounds. And it's not
yeah,
even like
yeah.
that's not even
It's
throwing shots
no
at
shame. Yeah.
that's no shade at Morgan Riley, like get your money,
No.
but also like why? But like who are we more
Yeah.
upset at? Are we more upset at Riley for because I think that
No,
I think when
it's honestly Devon.
that's a
Yeah.
fair deal. You know what I
Yes.
mean? I would say
Yes.
that's reasonable. But
Yeah.
Devon Toews taking less than like Riley, like he should be closer to like Makar than Morgan Riley. He should
On
be in
the
like
open
the
market,
high
you're telling me
eights.
he's not getting like high 8-9 million. Someone's
Dude,
absolutely giving
some
him 9
teams
million.
paying $9 million,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And the thing that I looked at too is the term, because he took 7 years. He didn't even get the 8th year that you can only get from your own team that you lose out on in free agency. He didn't even take that. So he left money on the table, as Dave said, to be on a contender. But man, the Leafs are a contender. So we need to be able to attract those types of deals, not just the guys on the fringes, not just the guys who say, yeah, I'm taking league mate instead of 1 million because I'm on a contender. Or the vets who come and say, yeah, I'll take league man like Spezza, Thornton, Gio. We need the big guys to come in and say, I took a little less to be on the contender. We haven't had those contracts yet. Those are the contracts that we've missed. So it's just a little frustrating, but also yeah, it's more about Toews than it is Riley.
I think that maybe that argument could be starting to get put to rest. You know, especially with Matthews signing. Now, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and say, "Wow, what a hero for taking a hometown or whatever hometown discount." Toronto's his hometown now. He's probably lived here. He's gonna live here longer than he would have in Arizona, whatever. But like the 13.25 by 5 for 4 for Matthews, I guess we can kind of say like that's edging. That's edging on like it's edging on
it's market value.
Yeah, I would say it's potentially just under market value.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's also like a caveat with the superstar player. Like 13.25 is, you know, what's that, like 15% of the cap right now, or like 12 per 13.
It's a good percent.
Regardless, though,
yeah,
Devon Toews himself did take a bit of a sweetheart deal, like Christian said, on both the money and the term. Funny how you don't see that in Toronto, for example. All right, let's bounce to the other defenseman who signed. Owen Power signs with Buffalo, 8.35 x7. I think
I kind of feel like we're gonna have the same conversation here.
Yes, but the difference is that how old is Power? Like 19, 20, and then Toews is like 27, 28. Yeah.
Devon Toews is 29. Owen Power is 20. So yeah. No, the Power deal is probably better.
Yeah. Well, in the sense that like you getting the prime years guaranteed, and Owen Power can be a Norris winner in the future. I don't think that anybody would be too shocked if in 5-6 years he has one Norris, right? But
yeah,
man, Buffalo, they're locked up long term. They're 2 demon at least.
And no, it's more than they're core 4, right? The comparison is Tage, who signed 7x7. I think that started this year.
Unbelievable. He could
it didn't even
50.
Start last year. Yeah, so he's got 7x7 there. Cousins, I think, was like 6-something by 7. Darlene, who's not even on his newly minted 11 by 8, and now Owen Power on 8.35 by 7. Really good deals. All those deals are really, really, really good, and they still have 2 core guys that I would say these guys to me are going to be core guys. Devon Levi, I know he's had a little bit of a rough start first 2 games, but he's the goalie of the future, and Zach Benson, who's played 2 NHL games, is going to be on an ELC for 3 years. So those 2 guys are on ELCs and contributing while you have your core locked up. And immediately my reaction to this one was in the chat. I spoke to Dave and I said, are these guys the Atlanta Braves with their they're super early long-term contracts. Like the Braves signed so many core guys to these really long deals. Like I remember last year they have a guy, Michael Harris, and he was like their ninth hitter in the playoffs this year, but he's really freaking good. Like I think he had like 16 homers, 60 ribbies. And then last year they had signed him to I think it was like a 7-year contract or something, 80 million after 50 games, career games in the MLB. So
Yeah.
they make huge bets early, but basically everyone acknowledges that like it's really, really smart, and they all would make the same bets. Like Spencer Strider is another one, and he's absolutely gross. That guy, not only is the mustache gross, but the actual heat on his pitches is pretty good too.
Yeah.
So
Touches
that's
100. Yeah.
immediately.
Austin
Yeah.
Riley's another one that comes to
Oh
mind.
my God. Yeah.
There's
I think they signed Matt Olson too recently. I can't remember, but
yeah, Matt Olson was coming
he's
from
the older guy.
He is the vet in that thing, but like you still need a guy to put up. I think he had like 55 home runs this year, which ridiculous. So
keeping things
I think for this
good for Buffalo.
I think for the Sabres though, like, dude, I think for the Sabres, they don't want to end up like, so the Braves have won a World Series, right? They have won. And they're still early, but sometimes like that high pressure can end up being your downfall. You know, when you are too overpowered and like, you know, you've got firepower like there's, I think by far the Atlanta Braves in the MLB this year were the most had the most firepower on the team.
It was never a question who was the best team in the league. It was always who's second best.
Exactly, right? So sometimes that could be the downfall of the team. Now I'm not going to suggest.
You saw it in hockey last year too with the Bruins.
Yeah, exactly. So now I'm not going to suggest that Buffalo will not be the most entertaining team to end up losing, but they have to get there first, right? They need
to make the playoffs this year.
They need to. Yeah, like if you don't make the playoffs, then maybe some questions have to be asked about coaching, about maybe higher management. And I think both coaching and higher management is probably the best it's been in Buffalo for over a decade.
Yeah.
So
there's one more thing I just wanted to point out. I'm going to draw a similarity to Colorado in the sense that Colorado's core guys are Rantanen, McKinnon, Toews, and Makar. So 2 forwards, 2 defensemen. But their main superstar in McKinnon is on a sweetheart deal, quote unquote. When you compare it to Buffalo, it's very similar. Tage is on a sweetheart deal, 2 forwards, 2 defensemen. And it looks to me like they're all committed to the project there. So
100%. That's the thing that I'm curious about the most is how they got such good buy-in from their stars. Like, what about Buffalo or their culture or whatever's going on there? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, the weather. Yeah. No, what is it about the team that they got such easy buy-in? You can even say the same thing for the Senators. Like they had really easy buy-in from their core too.
Especially for a team.
That's just
especially for a franchise that didn't have buy-in for like over a decade, right?
Yeah.
Like you flubbed up your last era. Thank God it turned into potentially a better era for them. Like, so they lose Jack Eichel and everybody's like, okay, well, this is rock bottom of like, 10 years of hitting rock bottom in Buffalo. And then they go out and watch that guy win a cup, like his first full season after, and they're still
and it's not the first time because of Ryan O'Reilly.
Exactly.
They've seen that twice.
And they're still going out like this year and into the future with probably the highest expectations of any team in the NHL. Like, I don't think there's another team who has more weight on their shoulders, but could potentially prove everybody right as well. So definitely a big story to look at going forward.
They're still like the league darlings. Like I feel like everyone wants them to do really good this year. Maybe that's a little bit of groupthink. Like maybe when everyone is so high on the Sabres that we should be asking ourselves, why are we in a consensus? Maybe there's something we're missing here. But For the time being, everyone wants them to succeed.
Okay, let's move on to our next topic. League leaders, just general stuff. It's only been literally the first max 3 games or 2 games for every team. But Auston Matthews leads the league with 6 goals, no assists though. It's kind of interesting. What I will say though is we'll get into him later. I just want to shout out Brock Besser for having the greatest start to his season than anybody else. Well, besides Matthews, but Brock Besser with 4 goals. Rick Tocchet's system seems to be working. I think that Elias Pettersson is also showing up big on the stat charts. And there's one more player I wanted to shout out. I forgot who I wanted to shout out.
Cal Connor?
No, Chandler Stevenson. 5 points.
Yeah. 5 points for Stevenson? Yeah, wow.
Wow.
I didn't even know that. 3. Okay, so hey, you see the caveat here. Mr. Stevenson's got 3 games under his belt. He's ahead of he's played 30% more than the entire
Than
league.
everybody else,
Hey,
yeah.
Okay.
The reason I want to shout him out specifically is because there's no Stanley Cup hangover. You see that a lot.
Yeah, I know they've come out blazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They
I mean, it also helps that they played the Sharks, I think, twice already.
Sharks, Kraken. I think it was Sharks, Kraken, and Ducks. That's
right.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
But regardless,
But regardless, you gotta be who you play.
Yeah.
I'm just suggesting maybe it's an easier hangover to deal with.
Oh yeah.
It's like waking up with a hangover, like, you know, in your bed, nice and like calm, or waking up like with like construction crew going outside at like 7 a.m. Like nobody wants to deal with that. So it's a bit nicer. But Chandler Stevenson, 5 points in 3 games already. Wow, good. Like that, Brian, was he not on the Caps 2018?
Yeah, he was.
He was?
He was our 4th line left wing.
But he didn't win the cup with you guys, did he?
He did.
Oh, he did.
Oh,
so he's got 2 cups on, 2 cup rings. Wow, good for him. He's really blossomed. Like that's somebody who's really blossomed over the last 5 years.
He's a guy who's coming up for free agency as well. So he's in line for a new contract.
Probably why he's playing well. There's 2 more things I just wanted to point out. Obviously, we're gonna give Bedard his flowers later, but Logan Cooley has 2 points, and so does Zach Benson. So
Benson, I saw there was a stat that he's only the 3rd 18-year-old. It's a very specific stat. It was like Benson is the 3rd 18-year-old to have a multi-point game in the past 5 years. I'm like, that's a little cherry picked, but
yeah,
it's cool. But how many other 18-year-olds are playing?
It's probably like a list of like maybe 15 guys.
Yeah.
Right? Like, is it that impressive? I don't know. And a lot of the guys too, like I don't even know if Bedard would make the list because I think he might already be 19 now. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he had a chance to do it, right? So yeah.
Okay, speaking of Bedard, he had a little bit of an altercation where Marchand tried to kidnap him and put him on the Bruins bench. I don't know if you guys saw the clip, but it's kind of funny.
I thought it was hilarious, man. I saw
he needs
that.
The Bergeron replacement.
Dying, bro. Yeah. There was also Marchand was asked about Bedard before the game, and the reporter was Ty Anderson, and he asked Marchand if he has any advice for Bedard tonight, and Marchand's like, "No, I don't." Reporter asks, "What are you going to say to him?" Marchand says, "Nothing. He's a great player. You love a guy or you leave a guy like that alone." The reporter says, "You came into the league as a relatively smaller guy. He's a relatively smaller guy." Marchand cuts him off and says, "I'm bigger than him." He's just having none of it. Everyone's talking Bedard. ESPN throws up every single graphic during every shift of Bedard. Like, it's like, I don't know if you guys saw the one where it's like chasing greatness, Gretzky, 894, Bedard, 1. It's like, are you serious right now? Are you serious? And Marchand was having none of it, but I loved it, especially the clip of him getting kidnapped. Bedard is literally like befuddled. Like, he doesn't know what's going on. He has no expression on his face. He's like, I just guess this is my life now. Like, he just lets Marchand take him. It's hilarious. And I kind of love Marchand a little bit more for doing this because he just plays the villain role so well. And Bedard is just the baby face. So it was like, if you're like a narrative guy with sports, you love to see that. because the NHL is usually behind the NBA and the other sports when it comes to that stuff. So I did like seeing that. I thought it was really funny.
You know, it was definitely a hilarious clip. And speaking of the Bruins, we'll move into the fact that Christian specifically wanted to point out that JVR is a Bruin, and it's weird. I still can't see him in a Bruins shirt. It doesn't fit to me.
It's betrayal, man. It's betrayal. He was on the It Was 4-1 team, man.
He was. He was a key member of that team as well.
Yeah, he was a core member, man. So I saw on the box score because I was following all the scores on my phone, and I see that JVR got 2 goals. I saw that they were both power play goals. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, let me watch these clips. I gotta see how he scored these goals. First goal, exactly what you'd expect. JVR is on the side of the post, side of the net, waiting down low. He gets his pass,
hanging out.
Of course, right? And he tried to, I think he actually tried to pass from the side of the net, but he just put it off of a Nashville defender's shin pad, and it ricocheted right back in. So I'm like, that's a JVR goal right there.
Yeah.
I look at the second goal on the power play. I think it was Pasternak from the point, throws it on net. JVR with a nasty tip, goal. I'm like, I just hate seeing that. I just hate seeing vintage JVR goals in a Bruins jersey. Yeah, and it's interesting that they've got him on PP1. I'm assuming, right? I'm pretty sure it was PP1. Yeah. So.
I mean, that was the second one on the power play too.
Yep, 2 power play goals. It's just JVR, just vintage JVR.
Yeah. He's just honestly, but like, who else are the Bruins going to throw on their net front there? Like, it was Krejci for the longest time. Like,
maybe not
yeah, I guess you're right.
Right? He fills that bumper role, like really that net front bumper role, like to a T. I think that's really the only reason why.
There's like 4 guys in the league that are more like that, like that are more than him in that. It's like Pavelski.
Like his hand-eye coordination is in like the top. It's like the top 99th percentile of the league, right? Like he's at like 5. I would literally say like it matches. I think Joe Pavelski might have the best hand-eye in the league, and I think
Kreider's up there.
Kreider's like, very good.
Yeah, Pavelski, Oshie, Kreider, and JVR. Maybe Tavares, but that's about it.
I don't even think
Tavares is more rebound.
I think his is a step under. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, dude, you do need some. It's just gonna be like, how crazy is it that in 2023 JVR is gonna have a 40-goal season? It's like, I just want everybody to realize that.
Dude,
you guys would cry
for the player. I'd be so for it though. Like I'd love for JVR to do that, but then I would look at the little team abbreviation beside the stat line and it'd be like, God damn it, freaking damn it.
It would be BOS.
Okay, so I just realized the line. I wish all the success in the world for JVR, but I don't want him to pass his career highs from Toronto. That's what it is. So he can't be 40-goal scorer. I think he has to be like a 34-goal scorer because I think he scored like 36 with us. So as long as he doesn't, as long as his best seasons were still in Toronto, I'm okay with it. That's it.
I mean, listen,
play with Pasternak now.
Yeah, it's still early, but like, we'll see JVR like, game 25 if he's still putting up like an electric pace. Like, who knows, right?
Yeah.
This would be such a Bruins thing that like the guys they sign, like Geeky, JVR, whoever else, just all of them have their best
like
career
the best season.
Like
year. Yeah, I know. Like it would be Boston, and that's what makes it probably like so much more depressing to think about. That's like, why is it always them? Like, we thought finally, like I honestly, I haven't said anything, but I'm hoping that this team just starts.
I don't think it's this year,
but I don't think it's this year either, dude.
I don't think so either.
I've already come to the conclusion. I'm like, that Matt Poitras kid is gonna be like top 5 in rookie voting. Yeah, like it's gonna happen. I'm resigning to that fact. It's now like 70 points.
This kid's gonna outshine like Bedard, Cooley.
He's gonna dunk on Bedard. He's literally gonna pick up the puck and dunk it over Bedard's head in the next game. Okay.
Okay. Let's talk about another former Bruin that left Boston this summer in Taylor Hall.
Yeah.
He is the draft whisperer.
Somehow.
He's specifically the first overall whisperer. There's a bunch of Taylor Hall first overall stats. Like, how many teams has he been on where they've won the draft lottery, right? It's a lot. it's got to be like what, 3 Oilers teams, 2 Devils teams. Like that's 5 already. He's been on 5 teams that have won the first overall pick with him there. Like that's absurd.
And then he signed. Like I don't think you could consider the Chicago one just because he signed with the team. Like he wasn't on the team already. But dude, I would say like 75% of the league doesn't even play on a team where they draft like 1 first overall pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You only get one pick, and like how many guys are on that team? Like I don't know, 20.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's just funny too that it's not like we're just talking about a random player. Like he himself is a first overall pick.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so interesting too. So I don't know if you guys took a peek at what the names are. If you want to take the guess of the 4 first overall picks other than himself that he's had an assist on their first career goal.
Jack Hughes.
4 times.
Jack Hughes I have the answers here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you have it?
I accidentally spoiled it.
Yeah.
Oh, boo. Jack Hughes.
It's a good list though.
Bedard.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so that's 2.
More. It's already an insane list.
The Oilers. Was it Nail Yakupov? Was Nail Yakupov one of them?
Not Yakupov. Not Yakupov. No.
I'm trying to think. Oilers first overall. I guess McDavid. No, he wasn't there for McDavid. Was he? No, he wasn't.
He
one season.
Oh, he
was there the first year, but
so he wasn't on that line.
Wasn't McDavid. There's only one other first overall guy from that terrible era where they just kept winning it.
Yes,
it was Nuge.
And one last
There's one more guy.
This guy might fly under the radar.
Who else?
He does fly under the radar.
Who else was picked first overall?
He's very good.
Is he on the? Is he on the Devils or is he?
Yes,
he's Devils.
Who is the other first overall?
Heischer.
Yeah.
Oh man, such a sleeper, dude.
Dude, what a list though! Like he had an assist on Nugent Hopkins, Nico Heischer, Jack Hughes, and Connor Bedard's first goal.
That's
crazy, man.
He's rivaling Ryan Donato right now. You know, with what was it, the Matty Beniers first point,
Bedard and
Kraken first goal.
Yeah. Okay. For the Capitals, I just wanted to say that I unfortunately missed the game. I was in a car for 15 hours straight driving from Toronto to Thunder Bay. I'm kind of glad I missed the game. 4-0 loss is nothing to be happy
this much.
But all I could say is I did look at some analytics. I saw that the third line, the Matt Phillips line, was fantastic, and John Carlson was not too great. But that's okay. That's another story for another time. I honestly didn't even watch the highlights. I just saw the scoreline and I was like, no.
Right, I did see
watching
that.
The highlights.
Yeah, no. What the hell are you going to see there? You're just going to get destroyed. I did see there was an Ovechkin hit. He destroyed Erik
Karlsson. Yeah.
Absolutely clobbered him. And I also did see that Lindgren was in that. Why was Lindgren in that over Kemper, man? What the hell?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Maybe
I don't know. His injury there or something.
Spencer Carberry.
Yeah, maybe Carberry's stirring the water already, man. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. Hopefully not. Okay. First question I just want to ask you guys this is what do you think of the song The Pursuit of Happiness?
Well, Brian, you're like I don't know if you were paying attention last night, but it's already done. Like, the pursuit of happiness is over. We did not find happiness.
Did we pursue happiness already? Like, did we already achieve it after one game?
Steve Aoki is so good. Man.
It is a good song.
Okay. So let's give the timeline here, the chronological timeline. It's probably been, I would say,
chronological 5 years ago. Do you want to start?
Yeah, exactly. Literally. I love. We all listen to the SDP where they say like, okay, the Big Bang happened, right? Okay. So Leafs were founded in 1917, but no. Let's say it's been 2-3 years that we had this conversation in the preseason of, are they going to change the goal song? What should they change the goal song to? The presentation in the arena, all of this stuff. We've been having this conversation, and finally, to me, it felt like everyone had stopped talking about it on opening night. Like, we didn't really talk about it, and then even I sent a thing.
I don't know if you remember, but our inaugural PuckPod, we had a whole segment of us. So this is last October. We were talking about the Leafs have to change the goal song. And I think that came from a place of like despair of
Frustration.
just like, please just do something to liven up it was the team and
the environment, the game ops. Yeah. So
it's crazy to think about. It was literally a year ago, like this week. I think.
Yeah. So it was like maybe like, I don't know, 2-3 p.m. And I'm like, oh my God, it's opening night. Are they gonna do it? Because we stopped talking about it. I text Dave, I text my other buddies, and they're like, I don't know, like they would have said something by now. And literally like an hour later, we get the report from Lance Hornby saying that Leafs are not only gonna change the goal song from "You Make My Dreams Come True" by Hall & Oates, but we're gonna get 4 goal songs. We're gonna get a standard one, at least 4. Well, yeah, exactly. We're gonna get 5 now. Anyways, they said we're gonna get a standard one. We're gonna get one for original 6 opponents. We're gonna get one for Throwback Thursday, and we're gonna get one for next gen games, or when we wear those black jerseys. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, this is pretty cool." Actually, well, there was mixed reactions. I think we can get into that in our opinions, but that's what they let it be known. We get into the game. Montreal scores first. We don't get to hear it. And then Noah Gregor throws it on net, his little snapshot there, and we hear the song. And it is, it's pretty good. It's Pursuit of Happiness, Kid Cudi, Stevie Aoki remix. Everyone's like, I don't know if, honestly, there's mixed reactions.
I like it, man.
Well, there was a divide.
Like
there was a clear divide.
There was a divide. Yeah.
There was
and it's
a
by
clear
age,
divide. Yeah.
Right.
Like it's unfortunate that we have to be ageist and stuff, but there was a clear divide at 45. If I'm gonna get gross here. If you didn't if you had a prostate exam, you probably didn't like that song. Unfortunately, funny, that song takes me back to I don't think we got
2019 clubbing.
No, I don't.
No, I'd say earlier than that. I'd say like high school. I'd say like mid 2010s.
Yeah, that's every time I hear this song, I think of that movie Project X. Like every single time. I watched that movie when I was younger, and I was like, "Oh my God, dude!"
Is it the Stevie Aoki remix in that song? Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
exact
it is.
One?
That's what made the Stevie Aoki remix is what made
that's what hyped it up.
That one even bigger.
Okay.
Because the original version, if you listen to it, it's so slow. Because it's Kid Cudi. It's just mellow. It's a mellow song.
I've heard people the people that have said they're not a fan. They're like, yeah, Kid Cudi's like an emo rapper. Like, why do we have the emo rap? I'm like, it's a remix. Like, I don't care.
Listen to the song. It's hyped up.
Yeah,
it's more hyped up. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah. So, I'm actually trying to wonder now because the controversy that's come out of this is that in our second game against Minnesota last night, it was not Pursuit of Happiness on Hockey Night in Canada, which you can watch on Fubo TV. It was not Pursuit of Happiness.
Yeah.
It was a different song. We'll get into it. But I want to stick with the thing first. So it wasn't Pursuit of Happiness. And then we had reports that Pursuit of Happiness was canned due to the messaging, complaints about the messaging. I'm wondering, I don't know, is Project X is that part of it?
Listen, I will tell you one
it's just
thing.
the song?
You listen to the lyrics of that song, especially the first 30 seconds.
I haven't listened close enough.
So if you listen to the first 30 seconds of the song, you know right away what the suggestion is. The Pursuit of Happiness in that song.
I literally said the line in my head. I just thought about the line.
Yeah, the Pursuit of Happiness in that song is not about winning hockey games. It is about other things that might elicit illegal activities.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
I'm sorry, we're thinking too hard about this.
That part of the song, okay, I get it because
it's not a PG-13 song.
I had to do it myself. I had to indulge the rest of my family. So my family spans 3 generations of Leaf fans. I had to be the one to indulge them to be like, oh, this is the song. You know what I mean? You hear the lyrics and you're like, yeah. Their face was like, really? This is what they picked? I'm like, yeah, it's hyped up. But then I think about it and it's like, okay, I get where the controversy comes from, but after a game, At least
And
give it a
also,
month.
I understand if maybe we were playing some of the lyrics, but we literally just play the bass drop.
The drop.
Like
Yeah.
it's literally just the drop.
It was the bass drop and then the chorus. And if you could even call it a chorus, it's like I'm on the pursuit.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Again,
Which
that's
is
it.
totally fine, I think, right?
It's when you go deep digging, and this is
yeah.
the problem with society.
It's
No,
the
I'm joking. I'm
Toronto
not even
thing,
gonna
though.
get into
No,
that.
Yeah,
but
we're not
yeah,
doing
like
that.
this is literally just like the Toronto effect that if any other team made this their goal song, we're not having this conversation.
No.
You
Dude,
tell me if this is the goal
Arizona-
song. Yeah, exactly. This is not happening. Anaheim,
shot.
San Jose,
If we-
even bigger markets. Like I think if like let's say the
New
LA
York?
Kings.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I don't know. I don't really think we're having this conversation, to be honest. But just like I do get it. We laid out the logic. It is understandable, but it's a little frustrating.
Yeah.
That's all. Especially after one game. This will go down in Leafs lore. Like this will be a little nugget of
The
Leafs
tidbit.
history.
Do you remember
Yes.
where you were October?
One
what
Leafs
was it,
song
October
was
13th?
only one Leafs song only lasted a singular game in
Dude,
the history.
me and you would be in a bar like this, like big braining, like pursuit of happiness.
Yes, literally. I had sent a video last night to these guys, just the Leafs goal song history. He's now gonna have to change that, and there's just gonna be a 5-second portion in that video that is just pursuit of happiness for one game. Lasted October 13 to October 15. That's it. Yeah, that's the pursuit of happiness part. I think we can go to break and get into more of this. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be right back. Let's go on a quick break. Okay, we are back from our break. So, as Christian was saying, pursuit of happiness canned. We're at the Minnesota game.
Canned.
What happens?
So, who scores the first goal for us? I think it was
Matthews.
Auston, right? Yeah. Auston scores. We'll go back in time and talk about what he's done over the 2 games, but he scores, and we get a new song, and it's called "Doop Doop." And you're probably like, "What the hell is Doop Doop?" Well, I immediately recognized Doop Doop because they played that whenever there'd be like darts on in like 3 p.m. on Sportsnet like 4 years ago. And when they go to commercial break, they show the crowd, and I don't know if you've ever watched darts, but it looks like they're playing in like a banquet hall. Like they're not in some crazy arena. It literally looks like they rented out a banquet hall, and they just pan to the crowd, and there's these long tables, because this is like in the UK, right? There's these long tables. Everyone is drunk out of their mind, and the whole crowd sings this song in unison. And I'm not even going to sing the tune here, but it's honestly a very catchy tune.
Yeah.
And I do actually like the song. I have to say I like it.
By goal 7, I was going up like doing what it,
Yeah,
because like that's a typical, like you watch any of those darts, you see guys in the crowd, they got their beer in there.
That's how it is.
It's gonna be infectious, 100%.
Yes,
it's an infectious.
You tell me
song.
once the crowd learns that tune and we're all singing it, that won't be hype, right? Because the whole crowd can't sing.
Yeah.
"Oh, you make my dreams come true."
I will tell you one thing. If this song is going to be the one that's going to stick, any song that's going to have
who knows?
to stick.
Maybe we're getting a new song next game. Maybe we're just
we probably
82 goal songs, boys.
It's fine by me.
Goal songs.
There's 82. There's
41
songs to go around.
41.
Yeah. Either way. Fucking play 82 at away games as well. If this song is going to stick, you need success behind it. What it was the reason why we kind of wanted away with pain, suffering. There was no dreams that were coming true with
great point
with the Leafs, right? Like they weren't making my dreams come true.
Yeah,
it was half coming true. Like you watch Auston Matthews score 4 goals in his first game, and you're like, wow, you are making my dreams come true. And then they lose the game, and it's like, well, now you're half in and you're half out. There was a big disconnect. So we need something. We need a song to, and I think
you tell me the Chicago fans would have loved Chelsea Dagger had they won 0 cups instead of 3.
Dude, you're telling me that they were playing Chelsea Dagger before they drafted Patty Kane and Patty Kane?
Yeah.
No,
I don't
they
know.
suck, dude. They literally sucked.
So I would get real tired if they were losing all the time.
Do you think Zombie Nation is still the goal song in Boston if they didn't win a cup in 2011, they didn't make a cup final in 2019. No.
Honestly, if after last year, I wouldn't. If they said they wanted to change it, I'd be like, okay, you went through some goddamn pain last year. Sure.
Yeah.
No,
for
no
sure.
Bergeron now, no Krejci. Okay.
Yeah,
But yeah,
they're gonna
like, they're
ditch.
still,
Boston's the type of team to ditch Zombie Nation and take the Dropkick Murphys, ship it up to Boston.
I'd
That
have to kill
oh,
them. Yeah, we can't do that
God.
though. I don't think we. I like the Leafs.
No, we
I don't think
wouldn't.
that's an
No.
option for the Leafs. No.
I don't think we could.
You guys need something that would like make yourselves like stand out in that sense. Like you can't take another team.
I think
I don't
so.
think it's about. I don't even think it's about standing out, man. I've always said that for me, the subtle undertone with "You Make My Dreams Come True" is this very kid friendly. Like it's just a very safe option, and you want something intimidating. Like I want something that strikes fear into the opponents, like Zombie Nation does with us. We hear that and we crap our pants.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's our version of that? And I don't know if Dope Dope is going to make other teams crap their pants, but it's going to get us hype. And like I said, if the crowd learns it,
I think,
tell me during a playoff game, if the whole crowd's going, hey, like that will be very hype. That will be good. That'll do a good job.
Now we're also banking on the fact that, let's say about 10,000 of those people in the lower bowl have to learn a song. You know what I mean? Like
by playoffs, I think I honestly think
we do have a good atmosphere. I would say we had a pretty
totally
good.
Different.
There was a pretty good atmosphere last night.
I want to talk about that too. It was really
just
good.
game one. Like game one, it
was library.
It was really bad.
Yeah, but that's also like if you're be blunt. If you're a suit, you're going to the home opener. You're doing the
closing
home
your deal. You're closing your deal at the home opener.
Yeah,
it's like wow, this guy's rolling. He's got big tickets against Montreal.
You're telling your client, I've got tickets. Would you like to go watch Montreal in the home opener or Minnesota? No, we will go watch Montreal in the home opener. So I think that's
a note to all clients: if your partner is taking you to the game with Minnesota over Montreal, you're probably getting screwed out of your deal. You're the
second option.
Find a new deal.
Yeah. Anyways, we get Doop, and I don't know. We can. I'm literally just gonna pose these options. We don't have to talk a lot more about goal songs, but yeah.
One thing before we get into that, dude, I'm enjoying the fact that we're taking stuff from overseas because I think we can be in agreement here that European football,
they do it better.
Aussie rules football. Have you guys ever seen an Aussie rules football game? They go ballistic, like even more than like a darts or a soccer game, like crazy. If you are able to bring something from overseas, it would be that crowd atmosphere, right? And what's the best way to do that is by, maybe stealing some of their stuff. Like, but it's fine. Like, listen, sharing is caring. We learned that pretty early on.
Yeah.
It's not for a malicious purpose, so I don't see why they would have a problem with it.
You're totally fine to steal from other sports. Totally fine to do that. Now, I will say this, though. When I heard that dart song, it also reminded me that I'm pretty sure another team used it very recently, might even still use it. I need to confirm this still. But the Colorado Avalanche had Doop very recently, like maybe as recently as their cup run.
I don't know if they still use it. Not their goal song now?
No, they play that. That's also like I think Dallas does a similar thing. They play that song after a certain third period commercial break.
Oh, so it's just like getting the crowd like I know what you mean. Okay.
Yes.
It's like
it's
when
almost
we
like
do
Take Me Out to the Ball game.
Like Sweet Caroline.
Right?
Like
yes, exactly. It's the Sweet Caroline. Which thank God, to be honest, thank God we don't do that anymore. Like it's a little tired. Like if you want to do a different song, but Sweet Caroline also reminds me of Boston too a little bit. So
that is like Boston to a T.
Yeah. So I will be mad if the Avalanche are still using that song because I don't think we should be stealing blatantly from another team while they're also using that song. We're gonna have two teams in the league using the same goal song.
If they retired it.
If they did, then I'm fine with it. It's still a little unoriginal, but
I want to say that the song was picked. I don't think the Leafs would intentionally change the song and make it a new song with another team using it, especially if they had another one like in place. I think even regardless of all the controversy surrounding it, I still think the Leafs do their due diligence. But
Let's
I don't know.
let's
Do you guys
Real
have
quick,
examples
real
for us,
quick.
Christian?
Real quick. Original 6 song. Dave sent a thing. He thinks maybe it could be Enter Sandman, that they were testing that out in the arena. Could be that for original 6 song. I think we're in agreement. We just need something old timey, maybe rock. This could be the intimidation factor song.
Yeah, give us hard
some
rock. Give us
Yeah.
maybe even like some
Yeah.
Kiss, like hair metal, something like that. Something from the 80s.
So let's hope for that.
Okay.
Throwback Thursday song. My
Hall &
theory is
Oates.
that it could. I don't think. I really don't think they torture us like that. I really don't.
I'll tell you piss off a fan base.
Yeah, I think it's gonna have to be an old goal song though. So I didn't end up going through the history to see what I think my best guess is. There's some pretty crappy songs, but there's options there. We'll see what they do. And the next gen song, I think we're in agreement. It's gonna be Bieber. It's gonna be Biebs.
I think Bieber is making a new, like, has a new song made specifically to play.
I'd be fine with that though.
I'd be fine with that too. I love that collaboration.
Yeah, like, yeah.
I'm in complete agreement with that. I think get Bieber in as much as you can, because like you saw, dude,
it's only good for us.
I will tell you one thing: are the Kansas City Chiefs hurting a lot more that Taylor Swift has aligned herself with that brand? I don't think
I'm so tired of that, but anyways, yeah.
I wonder,
let us make people tired of Justin Bieber. I don't think we use him enough.
Yeah.
That's true.
Dave, do you think the theory here is that they're going to basically use this year as a test run of all 4 and then choose one for next year or the playoffs? Do you think they'll give us the option to be like, choose your playoff song?
Yeah, by the
playoffs,
I think by the playoffs we'll have something set for like going forward. I don't foresee them doing this again, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering. I don't know if they would make this just the standard, like 4 songs, these themes every year, or if, like I said, maybe this is a trial run year, which they've integrated pretty well. Like I think the idea is pretty good, and then they go with a solid 1 goal song for the playoffs and into next year. I think that could make sense. So
I think so.
That's enough goal song talk. But it was honestly fun. Not gonna lie,
I love it. I genuinely
this was multiple year buildup, and to finally talk about it was good. We don't have to talk about it for a while now. Until the next one.
You'll have a lot more fun talking about our next topic, which is Auston Matthews. You're the best.
Dude.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into the actual games now, dude. We
the hockey guys. Did you know that they actually
on the goal song?
Oh man.
Right? Well, that's what Auston Matthews is the ultimate DJ because he played music 6 times. Man.
6 times.
He did.
He played really 2 tracks.
Yeah. Listen, he's a DJ that doesn't really got too much variety, but it's okay. That's okay with us. I don't know. What analysis do we even give? Like, he's gross.
Back hat tricks. He has the craziest release. His shot is ridiculous.
We didn't even see the release though. Like, it wasn't. There wasn't any toe drag.
That first goal was
like
the one timer.
Yeah.
Was that a one timer?
On the power. It was on the power play. It was like it was a quick release. Yeah. It was a nice one. He went top shelf.
The one that sticks out to me right now is the one where you're on the power play and it looks like Tavares nicks it a little bit. But he didn't.
Oh, that's yesterday
on the
far
wall.
On the far wall, yeah. Gorgeous.
He snipes it.
And he did that against Montreal as well.
Montreal too.
Yeah.
On the
he
same
does that
side.
often.
Wow.
Because there's times to go. Let's say he even gets like a fast break 2-on-1, he decides to shoot. He will purposely not try to go top shelf. Like, he will wrist it as hard as he can along the ice, and he scores so many goals like that. Like, he's really good at picking the goalie's brain and keeping them on their toes. I think that's what that goal was.
Is it a bit tougher? Because, like, especially if it's going along the floor, like, you kind of have to be in the right position to stop it. You got to, like, close your legs quicker. Like, I think it's harder to close your legs than it is to, like, lift up your shoulder to, like, that's a reaction like of like whipping out your hand, right? But it's not a reaction to like drop down basically. So I think
especially to do both, right? Because you've got to kind of decide. You have to anticipate what he's going to do. Where is he aiming? And that's right.
Especially like on that off angle. Like, if he gets that shot off real quick, like, you're already sliding across. Your natural reaction is to kind of like make yourself big, but that's I think what he wants from you, because if you make yourself big enough, there's enough of a gap at the bottom that it's easy to slide through. So, dude, like the guy is fantastic. You brought up, okay, so back-to-back hat tricks. Only I think it's like 4 players all time.
Five players.
Five players all time.
They corrected it. They originally posted 4, and then they changed it to 5.
Are the other ones except for Ovechkin all from like 1917 and 18?
Yes.
Okay, so
Stein Dineni, Joe Malone, and Reg Noble.
I think Joe Malone was a Leaf.
Do you guys know which team that Ovechkin and Matthews both got back-to-back hat tricks on?
Well, now that you say it, I'm assuming Montreal would be the common denominator.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're both against Montreal. Yeah. But the difference is you like Austin did his
first game.
Like in the first game, the home against Montreal. Our first game was against Ottawa, and then it was Montreal.
So
Brian,
Ovi went through Canada basically.
Yeah. So Brian, what is the good omen? What does back-to-back hat tricks to open your year? What did that mean for you guys? What
17, 18. That was the year we won the cup.
Okay.
Like
you guys are smiling a little bit too much for that little coincidence.
Now I think one of Cy Dineni, Joe Malone, or Reginald will probably won the cup because that's got to be. I'm assuming they all played for different teams. 6. This is original 6, so that's half of the league covered there. You got to hope that one of them won the cup.
I'm like 95% sure Joe Malone was an arena, so that was the Toronto Arenas, and they won the inaugural Stanley Cup.
That's right.
So Joe Malone is on there.
Joey Malone, let's go. Okay, so it's a good sign, boys. It's a good sign. I will I'll go back to the first game, the post game. I don't know if Brian saw the quote. I'm pretty sure Dave did. But Auston Matthews was asked the question by none other than Steve Simmons. And I don't even think I have to give background
you know who
here.
Steve Simmons is?
Yeah.
So
Steve it's crazy to think about Matthews. that even people that aren't attached to the team know who Steve Simmons is. Like,
it's not a good sign, by the way. It's not a good sign. So Steve Simmons asked Auston Matthews what he thought about getting a hat trick while not playing his best game. And Auston Matthews said, honestly, I don't know, Steve, because something tells me when you score 3 goals, it's pretty close to your best game. So, that's just funny. I just wanted to bring that up there. That's kind of all I got on Matthews.
That's like, worst like, dude,
it's just funny.
How many questions? I think you get like 4 questions as like a credentialed reporter, and you wait. Even the one before that he asked, was it before or after? He asked another one that was just like, dude, it's the home opener. It's a season opener in a pretty what we're expected to be like a very entertaining season, and those are the best questions you've got for him. Like even Matt,
first, what's he supposed to say to that?
Dude, the quote is bad enough. Like I honestly, whatever he said, but dude, just the reaction, that sarcastic shrug, and the laugh that he gives, it's just dude, how do you not want to crawl in your in a shell after asking that question?
It's just funny at this point. Do we have anything else on Austin, Dave? Any observations?
No, he's just so good, dude.
I'm taking the over on however many goals they got the line for next game. I know that.
Yeah. So good.
Is this a rocket year for him? You guys think?
Well, I mean, he's off to a pretty good start here. He's built himself a little bit of a cushion on the other opponents. So I don't know if he necessarily is eyeing for this year specifically, but I think he's just good enough that he might dance his way into the conversation and be like, oh, well, I guess I'm here. I might as well try now. You know what I mean? He could sleepwalk his way to 45, 50 and then get the extra little bit that he needs to win it.
So, but I will say
that.
What's the line set? What's the line set at for Rocket? Because now we've had 2 back-to-back years that's over 60 to win the Rocket, right?
He's got to be the favorite. And you're saying the actual goal amount?
The actual goal. So I don't think 50 cuts it anymore. I think it's 55 to 65 that cut that gets the deal done. Right?
Yeah, I think you're right, man. I think you're right, but there's guys in the league that they can do it though. Even if it's not Matthews, there's McDavid, Pasternak, right? Yeah. There's so many guys that could do it. I will say though too that that goal he scored last night, the third goal, that wraparound one, and his reaction like that, he was fired up to score a hat trick again. Like he knew what he was doing, and he was like, "Let's freaking go! I just freaking did that." And I did love to see that because you know that Matthews is usually especially in the regular season, he's a pretty reserved celebrator. But he's very astute at like he can take the temperature of the room.
Unless the moment calls for it.
Exactly. And he knew that this was hype as hell.
Dude, we've had how many moments have we had in like Auston Matthews' career where he'll score like potentially one of the best goals we've ever seen and just just shrug it off.
Respect.
His fourth goal, which is crazy to think about, on his debut, I will never get over the fact that this guy scored it and he went just like twirled around the boards and was just like, he kind of shrugged it off. Everybody's coming over to celebrate. And he's like, this is what I do now, basically. Yeah. But then you also have goals where like the goal against Chicago with the what did he do? Oh, his was the let me hear you, right? Let me hear you. Then he also had the goal line celebration. Like he's in the middle of both, basically, right? But when he's on like that, dude, is he like when he's fired up, he
gets the crowd fired up when he celebrates like that, right?
Oh yeah.
Like the crowd follows his reaction. If he's reserved with his reaction, then the crowd is like, oh, okay, maybe we should just, this is just another day in the life of the Leafs.
Yeah.
Let's jump to the second best performer over the past 2 games, I'd say, is William Nylander.
Honestly, like he's been like head and like he's been right there with Matthews. Like he's literally been that like right there in terms of best Leaf through 2 games. I'd almost argue that Nylander, despite not having 6 goals, more noticeable in terms of the amount of chances he gets. This guy he looks like he's on a mission, and I honestly don't think it has anything to do with the contract. He basically just looks like he's starting where he left off last year. Like he just looks like the same player, with an extra pep in his step. He's just faster than almost everyone on the ice. He's stronger than everyone on the ice. He looks dominant. That's the word that comes to mind when I would describe Nylander's game through 2 matchups is dominant. Just dominant.
The goal last night.
Gross, the first one. He scored 2.
The first one?
He scored 2, Brian.
The one where
the second one too, like pinpoint snipe, but the first one is like, dude, he's picking that puck up from the neutral zone, and he sliced. I don't even know who was on the was it like Jonas Brodin? Like those are some
and Brodin's like one of the best defensive defensemen. Yeah, like that's his bread and butter.
Dude, he sliced through him like he was in the AHL, dude. Like unbelievable.
Beautiful goal.
So just want to give Nylander's kudos there.
Yeah.
So maybe he knows that he needs to sign soon, and he's trying to get every single penny with this performance.
Yeah, dude, maybe Brad needs to get working on that extension right now, so his price doesn't jump.
While the Devontae's contract is fresh in the brain, right? And, okay. Yeah, I don't want to do too much. I'm not doing contract talk. No, we're not doing it. We're not doing it.
Not today.
Yeah.
Later date.
I just want to mention Sammy as well. Just his performance through 2 games.
Not too great.
The Montreal game was definitely not good. The Montreal game was lukewarm at best. I do think he was. Yeah, I do think he was good last night though. I know. I think the Boldy goal, you can maybe have an argument that he could have had that because Boldy he picks the corner, but also as a goalie you should have that corner covered, right?
Yeah,
because Samsonov was on his post but left room, so that's why I would say that's one he would want to have back for sure. Other than that, though, I thought he made some pretty big saves. Like there was that one save, I think it was the 3rd period, where he just absolutely robbed somebody point blank with his glove, short side, and it was beautiful. So there's something for him to build on there. Not good in the first game, decent in the second game. Let's see what happens. I'm assuming Wall is in on Monday. I don't think they're going to go with Sammy again.
I think he should.
100%. Yeah.
I know it's Bedard on that team, but I think they've only scored.
You got to get Waller to fill the puck.
They've only scored 3 goals in 4 games.
If it's 3 goals in 4 games, then I think Bedard has he's been involved in all of them. He scored 1 and assisted 2. So sounds about right.
It's not great right now in Chicago, but
Okay.
Yeah, I have to say though, with Sammy, and I know it's no fault of his own, but it's like it's all the traffic shots, and you've got to be you've got to be the one to take charge. I think the Leafs, what they have to do, the only thing that they have to do this season is just find somebody who can move bodies out in front of the net, because
which has been a conversation for like 3 years, right? And we always fix it at the deadline, but there's another half of the year that it's a problem.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I guess if you're gonna go out eventually and get like a couple of guys to move guys out in front, yes, but dude, the guys that are on the team right now have to do a much better job of clearing out traffic.
Yeah, I specifically didn't like McCabe on that fourth goal. They kind of did a low light on him where they're like, he's trying to cover I think it's Duhaime, and he tries to box him out but does not get any type of hold on the stick, and that's a spot where honestly you kind of miss Justin Hall. Like that's a Justin Hall spot, to be honest. I know we never thought we'd be saying that, but the blue line in general hasn't been the best defensively. Like how many goals against in the first 2 games? Like it's not been defensive hockey through 2 games. It's been fire wagon hockey. And yeah, we can get into that. I just want to do like first impressions on some of these players here. And Brian, feel free to give some impressions here from what you saw.
John Klingberg on the power play is so natural. He looks so good.
John Klingberg in the offensive end. I wouldn't even go as far as the power play.
Good.
Yeah. No, he's been really good through 2 games. Quarterbacking the top unit. He just poses more of a threat than Morgan Rielly, and I don't even think we've seen it in full effect yet. Like I don't think we've seen him unleash a clap bomb yet. But he's good, and I think the fact that he's right-handed, honestly, it does make a difference, especially for like when he's walking the blue line and he can fake a shot and he can easily get it over to Nylander, which isn't as easy for Morgan Rielly just because he'd be doing that on his backhand. And Morgan Rielly is allergic to his backhand. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I find that he does not like using his backhand. So
I think he's got a weak backhand, I'll be honest with you.
My thing with Morgan Rielly, I've always said this, is I feel like he's got a stick like a couple inches short and a flex that's a little too flex. Like it's a little bit too wobbly. Yeah, it's a little too flexible. Like he's maybe got to go up 5 flex, but that's just me. But I will say that Klingberg, you'd look at him and you'd think of his skill set and you would think that he's like a burner or he's got like really good speed. He doesn't. His skating's like kind of average. So if the puck does bobble over his stick on the power play, he might not win that race back for the puck. That's the one thing with Klingberg I've noticed. He doesn't have the wheels that you'd expect for like an offensive defenseman.
He doesn't have the wheels, but he has the lateral movement. Like
yes. No. His edges are great. Like you said, walks the blue line. Nice. Real nice. He's a ballet figure skater on the blue line. Yes.
Yeah.
And now you guys can do like those little tricks that like Edmonton does, like we used to do, right? But like with Morgan Rielly, you would never pull that like switcheroo stuff off.
It's for me, it all comes back to Morgan, was that his shot doesn't pose enough of a threat, so the defenders don't respect him, right? So they would you can purposely not cover him and lean a little bit more towards Nylander or Marner because
you double cover somebody else.
Yeah, because Morgan Rielly, he throws on that shot as a bit of a muffin and it hopes for a tip or a screen, right? Which it works. It works sometimes. That's how we scored against Tampa in overtime, right?
It did work. It worked a lot.
It works a lot.
10 years. Like
yes,
that's his bread and butter.
It's a little bit more lethal what Klingberg has. His skating, you know what reminds me of actually, Brian? It reminds me of Erik Gustafsson. Like Gustafsson's an offensive defenseman, but is he a burner? No.
All Swedes.
Yeah. It's a good point. Even Sandin isn't like a burner. He's an edge work guy, but he's not like a speedster.
No.
Same idea.
As of right now, this is probably my favorite move that you guys made.
Which is incredible because it was the one that we were tearing the most. Yeah. I will say though, like, okay, listen, $4 million is still a lot. It's still a lot. But after watching the highlights, like I purposely watched his highlights in the summer to get an idea of what to expect. And he's been as advertised. Like the power play stuff is exactly as advertised. unfortunately, you can't really find defensive lowlights on YouTube. People don't really make those montages, so we're gonna have to see that play out in real time. And I'm sure we'll be frustrated with him as the season goes on. But through 2 games, probably the best first impressions out of the new guys.
Yes.
Last thing. His net positive on offense has to outweigh his net negative, which will be eventually on defense, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of games to go. Like, this is what, game 2 out of 82. I would say I think I only noticed him. I really noticed him once. I think it was against Montreal. It was he's kind of caught in the middle, but I don't think anybody on defense, I would argue that nobody really on defense over the past 2 games has had a stellar defensive game. So I think you could just I will start judging defensive game November 1st. November 1st is when you got to start. By game 10, start locking up.
So,
go ahead.
You want to finish? I was just going to move on to the next player. But...
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So, Tyler Bertuzzi now. This guy is so weird. Like, he's really weird. Play. It's like I'm never impressed with him. But he's always in the right place at the right time, and he's always like doing something productive. But it's not like you're watching him and you're like, wow, this guy's so good. Like, you're not in love with the play, you know?
You're right. It's the hockey IQ that it's underestimated in him. Like you said, he knows where to go. He knows the spots to be in. And he's actually sometimes thinking ahead of the play. There was a play against Montreal. A beautiful tic-tac-toe with Matthews. High, low, back, high to Matthews. It didn't end up resulting in a goal, but it was really nice, and I was impressed by that. How I would describe Tyler Bertuzzi is he's choppy. Everything about him is choppy. His stick handling is choppy. His stride is choppy. Everything is choppy. On defense, his stick lifting, chopping. He's just a lumberjack. And it's so weird because it looks so inefficient, but it's effective. Like, he gets the job done. And I do think that he'll be the natural fit on that first line. Like, on the whole, I'm still more impressed with him than I'm not impressed with him. Like, I don't think he's had like a big giveaway. He gets involved in scrums.
He hasn't warranted anything that would lower that. Like, he's really bad on possession. He doesn't touch the puck well. But then when he's inside,
he's a dog on a bone, man. And he gets puck backs. Like, he gets the puck back a lot. He gets them back. Yes.
But it's also the result of him losing. Like, it's weird. Like,
you're right.
It doesn't make sense, but
you know what he kind of reminds me of? Like, just a hint of I would say first 3 years of Zach Hyman.
Yeah, it's a good comparison. Stonehand,
but he definitely has more offensive.
He has definitely
hands, his offensive upside outweighs Zach Hyman. But I think the overall characteristics of his game leans more on like that old Zach, like not the Zach Hyman you're seeing now.
This is power forward Zach Hyman that has silky mitts and it's kind of crazy and everything. Yeah,
like there's a reason why Tyler Bertuzzi is regarded as probably one of the more premier power forwards in the league. There isn't that many of them. Yeah. Right. And what he does, he does pretty well as conventional as it looks sometimes.
And he puts up points, man. That's the main thing.
He looks like he should have been playing in like the 90s. That's what he looks like.
His style is hilarious. You know, like I'm sure you guys have seen at this point, like the no tape on the top of his stick.
Yeah.
No knob, like just like a couple strips of tape on his actual blade. The skate tongues flopped out. It's hilarious, and the best is when they asked him like, "Why is this his style?" Dave, do you know what his response was?
I didn't hear his response.
His response is that he's just lazy. I'm too lazy to tape my stick. I love it. I love it. So he's like a character. And like I still think like he's the biggest enigma on the team from a personality standpoint, maybe even from a performance standpoint. But so far, we're getting the good side of it. Yeah,
talking about the enigmas like on the Leafs team that stand out. The guy that stands out to me the most is like for non-scoring purposes is Ryan Reeves. Like right away when Xhekaj grabs him and they start fighting, there was no hesitation. He just knew right away, instinctively. I'm gonna kill
But-
this guy.
And
Obviously,
I
he
think he
went
lost
in
that
for,
fight, but
but he went
he
in for
lost
the
fight,
hit.
but
I think he went in for the hit on Montreal, just like how he did against Minnesota, which I think we could get
side
into
on side.
the side on side hit. But he went in knowing full well that like there's a 75 to 95% chance I'm getting into a fight right after this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
and they're not quote unquote dirty hits. They're normal hits that you would expect.
The game on the one on Montreal
Was
is
a little bit
more
okay.
debatable. The one last night, dude,
Totally
that's
fine.
a textbook. Don't cut across the ice with your head down.
Whoever, it was Gaudreau. He had no idea a hit was coming. That's all it was. He was not prepped at all, but that's
No.
on him, right? That's
Yeah.
not
Yes.
on Reeves. I think
Is
even
that-
the most.
I think that's probably the most telling sign of why they brought Reeves in, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
what other player on Toronto would let you cut in and you would face a steel wall
Yeah.
like
No
going
one.
in
I don't
like
think
that?
any- I
No,
don't think you have a single
literally
player
no
that
one.
would make that
Over
hit.
10 years probably.
The Foligno tilt was good too. It's a good little tilt. I think even the most like analytics leading fan, I don't know how you can be mad with Reeves' performance so far. He hasn't killed you defensively. Like he doesn't look like he doesn't know how to play hockey. He actually has more like hockey IQ than I think I would have
You
given
give
him
him
credit for before seeing him play. Yeah. Like I think he understands his role to a T, that I am here to make big hits, to fight, to talk
Just
crap,
protect.
to protect, but I'm also here to not give up the puck. And I
Yeah.
think he's very, very aware of that fact and does a great job of just playing simple hockey and not killing us defensively. I'm impressed by him so far. Impressed. Absolutely impressed.
Okay.
You want to talk about Domi?
I think I'm gonna fly through these guys here. Noah Gregor is left-handed Lafferty. Good. Take him on the fourth line, makes 300K less than Lafferty.
Probably get 10 goals this year.
Scored for Vancouver. He'll score 10 goals. He's a fourth liner, but he's a decent fourth liner.
Yeah.
Nyes, decent first game, okay second game. It's very early. He had that one move on Rossi that was really nice last night. That third line in general is kind of a mess right now. Another part of that third line, Fraser Minton, underwhelming because maybe he's being overwhelmed at the NHL level. He just looks like he's a step behind sometimes. He's a bigger guy, but I don't know if he's really done anything crazy so far. Yeah, and he had some chances last night. The Montreal game wasn't as good.
No.
But he was okay last night. They got to give him more ice time to see what he is, though. And he's actually decent in the face-off dot, which is good for a rookie.
Yeah.
But I think on the whole, we'd say he's not getting the 10th game right now. Like he's probably getting sent down, to be honest.
Yeah.
And you probably throw Holmberg up there or bring up Robertson, like unless he shows us something else down the stretch here. Okay, 2 minutes on Domi. What the hell does he do on this team? He kind of looks like he's in the doghouse right now. We don't really notice him. I know he had the giveaway against Montreal, but I'm trying to see like offensively what he does.
Just a pest, like.
Yeah,
And
I haven't seen the pest
really
though. We
the
haven't
pest
seen him.
yet.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
seems like he's been very quiet. I almost wonder if how much of the pressure of being in Toronto in the spotlight is affecting him to start. I don't know if that lasts a full season, but he seems like a little timid so far. Like we haven't really seen his game yet. And I don't think Keefe knows what his game is yet because we haven't seen it. And so he moved him off the second line, promoted Yarncroke, who scored. He's not good defensively. We saw the giveaway against Montreal. He's supposed to be a playmaker. We see the passing. Hasn't resulted in anything crazy yet. He's a good skater. Like he's their go-to transition guy on PP2. He always carries the puck in. He's the entry guy, and he runs PP2. He is the Marner of PP2. But outside of that, at 5-on-5, we haven't seen a good fit yet.
No.
And I think he's averaged like 12 or 11 minutes in the two games. Like
I think it's
concerning. Yeah, it's
Stand out to me.
concerning. It's something to keep an eye on.
He doesn't. It looks to me like he has no like character or purpose right now. It's like he's not like the main.
He's still finding his way.
And I
Well,
think
he's not
time.
he's not the main pest, right? You have other guys like that.
Yeah,
He's not
I'm honestly just expecting him to talk crap. I don't even care for like be a pest, like a bunting pest. That's what I'm expecting, right?
Dude, if we get the exact same type of like tenacity like that Bunting had,
But we're not even there yet.
No.
So we gotta see a little bit more. It's super, super early, but that's been probably the most concerning thing so far through 2 games. Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Let's go.
I think we covered it all.
Closing thoughts for you guys? Anything you guys want to shout out or say?
Really excited to watch Bedard. Yeah, Bedard tomorrow is going to be really awesome. And then after that, we still got 2 good games during the week. We've got Florida on Thursday, Tampa on Saturday. So it's a really good slate of Leafs hockey. Do you know who you guys have on the schedule, Brian, this week?
I don't. I'll try to check that later. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been tough.
Caps. Come on, man. Show us something. Give us something to talk about. Matthew
Please.
Phillips hat trick. Let's go. Let's go.
So shout out to Razor, NHLshop.ca if you want to get your Fraser mitten jersey. Actually, we'll show Auston Matthews. If you want to get your Auston Matthews jersey,
yes, that's the one.
Hockey Night in Canada, you can watch Leafs Bolts on Saturday night next week, or this coming week. Thank you for listening. Go ahead there.